one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best? There is no second best.
Breaking news, which if you haven't heard, we're here to tell you right now. Trump just signed a bill to end the government shutdown after 43 days. He's supposed to be going live from the White House. I'm not seeing anything yet coming alive across that board, but what everybody's waiting on right now is like Kermit here hanging on to the edge of disaster. Are these green candles going to be lit up? Are we going to see the market actually move to the upside? Because when we look at it just from a glance, we're seeing nothing happening yet. So Drew, is this just one more of those instances? Everybody's expecting a pump and we get a dump before that happens?
I think you said something pretty important to me today. It's like, if we don't see the market respond positively to like a slew of good news, right? The market reopening, things like that. There is some cause for concern. We did have some pretty good TA from Crypto Crank today. As things sit right now, it's not horribly bad. You know, like we've been kind of flopping and groping around 102. What is this? Let's see if I can add us to this stage. Oh yeah, you got this pulled up. So we're at about 102,000 flat right now. We're well below. Like I've been watching the daily 300 moving average, the SMA, and we are below that thing. We are needing to reclaim it. It's sitting on my charts right at about 103.8. The 300 SMA is
right here.
Something I'm watching out for. Yeah, I really want us to bounce above it. Sure, we can crash back down to it, but we need to move up over this thing, bounce off of it as support. Otherwise, we do got to start looking at targets down in the 90s, like 92. It's kind of the line in the sand that makes a lot of sense for me, to kind of flip my mindset bearish, right? Dare I say, in terms of short-term action. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're going to sell your crypto. It's like, no, I've already been taking a lot of profits. I'd probably maybe consolidate a little bit, but I'm really not too concerned about everything going on right now. It's more of
one of the things I do see, and I'm going to lay out both cases. So anybody that's tuning in, maybe you've never tuned in here on Discover Crypto, welcome to the family. If you are tuned in and you are part of the family or not, if you're just here, hit that like button, drop your comments in the live chat here. We are tracking along. Let us know. Do you think the market's going to are we going to get a pump out of this in the next week, or is the expectation too high and we're going to get the dump? Because there's cases to be made on both accounts. Looking at the daily, we have a pretty decent bullish divergence here, with these being flat on the RSI right across here, while we're seeing much lower lows. At the same time, if you get down here into like the 4 hour, we saw that bull div, basically essentially play out already on the 4 hour and come back down into the zone. I think a lot of people, even other notable names like Chamath Palihapitiya, thinks that we need another 10% or so down. And if you think about it, 102, it's right near 100,000. That'd be basically about $10,000 down from here, which is right into where that CME gap still lives. That $92,000 mark right in here. So things would still be on course if we saw that. And, we're in the zone that in terms of the time block here, that I do think we're going to be seeing a reversal here in some near term, whether we go down lower first or not. I do think we're going to get a resolution to the upside, but I'm not banking on, the exact timing of this, because it feels like everything in this market is doing everything it can possibly to make everybody sit here and do this. Bitcoin,
pretty much.
Green candles win, mofo.
Yeah, the fear and greed's something I'm watching too. It's pretty funny. The fear and greed it's looking pretty rough, right? We are going damn near to extreme fear right now on the fear and greed index. Not a great. I mean, really, these are the times where I felt like buying. Yes, I'm an insane person. Yes, I have a long-term outlook on bags that I have conviction on, and I'm buying more of them. And I'm actually excited if we do actually get a true pullback, that'll open up some entry points that I'm going to be taking advantage of, but on very select projects. And really, I've been most heavily adding to Bitcoin. It's
Well, I'm glad you brought up the fear and greed because, when you look at this, if this is a problem that's perplexing everybody, if we're still in a bull trend, then what we've seen in this bull trend is when you see these very dark red, dark orange colors, like we see here, and you see the score on that little flag, 26 here, 29, all sub 30, 23. That was the conditions in which everybody got scared. That we also saw on the open interest and also the funding rates, everybody flipping bearish sentiment. It's over.
Yeah.
Boom. That's when you send. Yet again, we get down into this sub 30. Look at that, 20, 23, 39. Okay. But then, 24, we're getting these very scared portions, and then everybody flips bearish. You get that all these longs basically getting wiped out, and then everybody flipping short, and then the market sends. And we're kind of setting up the same scenario right now with, look at that, sub 30. We got back up sub 30, way sub 30. We're getting into this territory again that we have seen. So the question is going to be, looking at this, and I have not updated this from many hours ago. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, we've got no clear signal here. This looks like trap city galore. But I feel like we're going to be getting a resolution, whether we're going to get some upside price action or it's going to go down into the abyss over here in the next week or so.
Yeah, and it was interesting watching Aerodrome was shaving off a lot on the way into this. Can you check out Aerodrome? Someone's bringing it up in the chat. I know it's around like 97 cents right now. Pumped up to like $1.20 and shaved off like 15% over the last 24 hours, even with all the bullish news. And this is where, Aerodrome is a longer term project for me, in my mindset and its longevity outlook. But we got to be cognizant. Like I am a leverage trader too. And I had an epiphany as I was laying there on the couch watching a World War II movie. I'm going to create my own mini bull market once again with leverage. Just feeling it in my bones. I've had great success this year, last year as well. So I'm kind of looking at hopping back in the charts. What are you seeing on the Aerodrome washout here? Any key levels that we're sitting at right now or that we should look out for?
Yeah, definitely want to look at that, but I just want to pause as everybody's tuning in here. We do have in the title Trump Live, and the reason we have that is because Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary of the White House, did say President Trump will sign a bill to reopen the government and speak live from the Oval Office at 9:45. We know that he's not good on timing. Maybe somebody should buy him a watch. So I hope they didn't pass that up. I got it tuned in on the other screen. We can pop that live as soon as it happens. But looking at Aerodrome, what's going on with Coinbase right now with the movements they've made into Morpho, into Aerodrome, the recent purchase from Kobe, the token, basically their launch pad that they're working on right now. What I'm watching here just on a purely technical basis is we do have a descending sort of channel, descending broadening wedge. We'll just call it a descending channel. This has broken out. We broke, look, higher lows here. We have a higher high here. The retrace back down came perfectly into a line we already had on the chart, previous range low region we're watching, and also testing still above this descending resistance line that it's still now potentially flipping to support. But we need to see how this plays out. This is not flipped to support until this starts to bounce and retakes beyond about I'd say the 618, the golden pocket, basically back up here to $1.18. That's when you start really considering this is actually flipped this previous resistance to support. As it stands right now, it may be shaping up that way. That's on the daily. On the hourly, it's looking a little precarious. We got a lot of volume that's come in, both bearish and bullish. When you look at the other data, RSI is very oversold, negative money flow. So what we're going to want to see is the money flow come back towards this zero line, and attempt flipping positive, and the RSI coming back to attack at least this midway point here around that 50 line to really start getting some confidence.
Yeah, I mean, like in the shorter term, the projects that I picked up in the most recent are actually doing pretty decent here. I'm going to check it out. It was Linnea and Canton are doing pretty darn good. Added some Jito as well. Morpho. I kind of expanded my portfolio a little bit. Still holding the Morpho. I love me my Morpho, but this is a time frame where, as a leverage trader, I definitely am. I'm happy about the volatility and the craziness that's going on right now. Something weird about it makes it so I am able to make more money when I'm trading. The moves are still very violent, and I'm not really stuck in. Yeah, Rob Paul's asking, you guys are still bullish. Yeah, man, I'm still well up on my positions, and a lot of the positions I'm in are well in the green. Even Chainlink is well in the green for me, but it's only because I've been believing in it for so long.
Oh, here we
Um,
go. I think it says White House will begin shortly.
ooh,
So it looks like they will be going live in a moment. We will ping that right onto the live screen as soon as I see them actually live.
mm,
But I do want to say there was something I was going to say there. That is, let me pull this up really quick, x.com. People say you're still bullish. Yes, I'm still bullish. Yes, I think you are very bullish as well. And one of the reasonings behind that is this chart right here, which exemplifies something. You're going to see this in a moment. This chart right here, which exemplifies the business cycle, the what's going on with global liquidity, all these things combined. And we've seen a contraction in the business cycle all the way. This entire bull run, Bitcoin has pushed up into this. So while people say we've got bear divs from March of last year, how could you be bullish here? It's also the 4-year cycle. This is the top. Well, I think people are, it's a fool's errand to think that every one of these cycles was specifically just because the 4-year cycle, because you see the basically business cycle bottoming. This was the start of the bull rally. Bottoming, start of the bull rally. Here we are, excuse me, potentially bottoming. I do think we've got a lot that's coming into this. Why? We've got, I just shared this earlier. Let me see if I can find it. It's right here, somewhere here, right here. Business cycle contracting. That's about to end. Global reordering. Everything that's happened with this administration, that's shaking things up with the tariffs and all this. That's starting to get shaped up. The government shutdown, it just ended. Quantitative tightening, it's ending here in a matter of days. All these things, as I said, are ending. Crypto is about to explode. So for those still stacking, strap in, because I do think we're going to be getting some higher here in the very, very near future.
Yeah, and I wanted to address a question here. And while we're doing this, Kelly, if you can we share your entire screen and then overlay Trading View with Bitcoin, the price action? Or actually, we could do it in your corner box, actually, when he goes live, now that I think about it. So actually, never mind, scratch that. I had I wanted to talk about this. The Warren Buffett holding mostly cash, right? Warren Buffett, he got out a pretty good amount of time ago, like a year ago, I think it was, maybe even a year and a half. And Buffett left a lot of upside on the table that he didn't experience by leaving the market when he did, and sitting on that mountain of cash, which he absolutely has been. He's missed out on the upside of S&P 500's movements, and he's also missed out on the fact that he's stuck in the dollar, and he's lost about 10-12% of buying power in that bag of dollars, right? So Kelly, you had a pretty interesting thought on this. I mean, you had mentioned that he is on the way out, Buffett, and maybe he's trying to insulate some of his shareholders from his departure, should that cause a massive pullback, right? I mean, like, do you still kind of feel that way, or have you been thinking about looking at this mountain of cash that Warren Buffett's been sitting on for a bit of time?
If you're 22, your risk appetite is going to be through the roof, and your ability to take on a new technology that's reshaping the entire global financial structure makes sense. When you are 90 plus, and this is not knocking Warren Buffett, he's one of the most legendary traders and investors of our time, not even trader, investor of our time. The fact that he has all this cash on the sidelines, on the one hand, makes people want to give pause and say, that must mean there's going to be a market crash. On the other hand, we're seeing the world change so rapidly with what's going on with AI, data centers, compute, mining, Bitcoin, stable coins. This is literally potentially unwinding every other investment that he has. So whether or not, I think that we're going to get some massive cataclysmic sell-off in the market. I think Joe Calasari, I'll quote here, I think calls it best. I think there's a lot of doomerism in the markets right now. And in reality, what's happening is most apparent is that there's more and more appetite for governments to run things as hot as possibly as possible, and do different mechanisms. We just got a 50-year mortgage that's likely going to be coming in. There's a whole debate around that, but they're trying to do everything they can to get these markets to run extremely hot, especially with this contention as the political landscape is right now. So him being in cash to me isn't necessarily an absolute signal.
Here we go.
He's also coming into the end of his life. Let's hear it.
Let's see if we can get the sound on your side.
Government can be and how bad government can be if people don't know what they're doing. For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. I want to thank Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, as well as House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and numerous other great Republican leaders and congressmen and senators who are here, who frankly spent a long time in Washington getting this thing to go away. I also want to thank the broad coalition of Americans that stood with us in this fight to reopen government, including the Teamsters, the American Federation of Government Employees, the Fraternal Order of Police, AMVETS, the National Small Business Association, the American Farm Bureau, the American Trucking Association. These are all incredible patriots. The Airlines for America, the Allied Pilots Association, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, and many, many others, unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy.
Hey, everybody, while he's talking, drop your comments in here. Do you think we're going to resolve this week? Are we going to be higher or lower than the price we're at right now? Let us know in the comments.
1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid, and the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass great, really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't. Today we had the highest stock market price ever in all of the different markets. We set a record. It's the 48th time in the 9 months that I've been in office that we had this record set. So Think of that, 48 times. We had a record set, but today is the highest of them all. We're gonna break new grounds. Nobody would have thought. I have with us not only the great political leaders, but the great business leaders of our country. They're standing right behind me and right really alongside of me. And if we would have told them a year ago that we'd be having stock prices this high, none of them, in fact, I just asked them that question, none of them would have believed it. And that inures to jobs and, very importantly, to 401ks, which have also set a record today, a record high for the people that have 401ks. And also, I want to thank Walmart because they came up with a fantastic study. It was the cost of Thanksgiving coming up and the cost of Thanksgiving from a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden, and we're 25% lower this year than we were a year ago. And it's a very inclusive report, so I want to thank Walmart. They've done it for many years, but we believe in that, and we believe in that company. I want to also thank the 8 Senate Democrats who finally did the right thing in voting to end this craziness, this madness, but unfortunately the vast majority of congressional Democrats were happy for millions of Americans to suffer. They really did suffer too. And the Democrats admitted, they said, well, no, we finally have a point. Even though people have to suffer, we finally have a point, and that didn't work out too well for them. But they really went out and they could appease the fringe benefits of their far-left base, but that didn't work out because now their far-left base is angrier than ever before. We actually elected a mayor of New York City who happens to be a communist. When was that going to happen?
He's going to deport him, maybe.
I said all the time during my campaign, we will never be a socialist country, and that's right. We turned out to have a communist in New York City, and if you look at his views, those are the views of a communist, not a socialist. So this is no way to run a country. I hope we can all agree that the government should never be shut down again, end the filibuster, terminate the filibuster. It'll never happen again. So with my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that. And speaking of tax cuts, our great, big, beautiful bill is giving everybody in our economy, middle income workers, low income, everybody, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And it's
Make the arrow bigger.
No tax on social
Well,
security.
I'm moving the arrow
And
as it
very
grows. So if
importantly, no
it goes
tax
back
on
down, I'm
overtime.
gonna.
You work overtime, there's
Yeah.
no tax. That's among the things that add up to the biggest tax cut in history. And one other thing, you hear about rich people with deductions. Well, when you buy your car and you borrow money, you're allowed to now deduct the interest on that loan. So you can take that interest deduction and what you can take is that interest payment and deduct it for income tax purposes. That's a tremendous.
RSI is
tax
looking
cut
super
right there.
weak here, so.
But it all includes fixing the healthcare system that Democrats broke with the disaster known as Obamacare. Obamacare was a disaster from day one. It's done nothing but go up. And if you remember President Barack Hussein Obama, when he came up with this crazy idea, he said everything's going to be great. Rates are going to go down. Payments are going to go down. Everything's going to go down. It went the exact opposite with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be
make
far better
Chainlink
and
great
far
again.
less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. Their
Shit,
stock
that's
prices
this right
have gone
here.
up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you'll go out and you'll buy your own health insurance, and you'll negotiate different plans, and you'll get much better insurance. And
Health
you'll be an
insurance is a
entrepreneur
scam.
for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own health care, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats.
We're at a make or break it zone right here.
Politically, and it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
Come on, Trump. Pump our bags. Pump our bags. I'm going to run for president. I'm going to start running for
You're
president.
getting deported, bro.
I'm going to be a Christian version of Gaddafi here in the United States. It's going to be huge. What's up, BZ? Druth Gaddafi coming to the U.S. Christian version. It's going to be huge. It's going to be maybe the biggest.
What up, Bad Fox? How you doing?
I think we really have a really great situation.
Turn his mic
We
on.
have a country that we love, and we have a country that's in great shape. As you know, we have now it's over $18 trillion invested in our country by other people and countries. That's a record. There's never been a country that had so much, and that money's going into also building new auto plants, new AI plants, new everything. We've never had a time like this. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
Crap, now it's going to dump.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and then they cut it off real quick here. Let's
Oh,
pull up this chart.
man.
Let's pull this. Is probably going to dump now.
Well,
Unbelievable.
you know
Here, I'll
what?
go
It's
full sound.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean,
Not great. It's not great. It looks weak, dude. Like,
hold
it
on,
really
let me-
does look
Hold
weak.
on, I'm not sure if they can hear you because I need to.
Oh, here, I can do this. Watch this.
There
Bam.
we go. There we go. Sorry, I just had to
So-
change my screen share.
Yeah, I mean, this is on the 1 minute. This is where the deepest alpha is found, is on the 1 minute chart. This is where you can find those ultimate signals. You know, look at this BS though. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. And it's like we get no positive
Well,
angle.
You know what's terrible about it is looking at that. You have a breakdown, right?
Mhm.
And the problem here is TA is great. TA is great for very established assets. Even Bitcoin is not really considered established yet.
Mhm.
And the fact that you break below this line and basically bear flag, this is a bear flag, comes down. You had the attempt up, we had the attempt down, comes back up. There's nothing to say. I would give no signal on this. If this was the NASDAQ, I'd say this is going to break down. But what I fear, and this is going to be the most technical signal that you're all are going to see in your entire life right now. What I fear, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this.
No.
You're going to see
Oh,
just,
Lord,
you're going to
please no.
see a move up that traps you, a move down that traps bears, a move back up. Oh, it's, I think we've got some work to do.
Mhm.
There's been so much front end loading to government. We saw the run up yesterday, just when the Senate had a bit of a plan where Democrats that was a little bit more of a deal. There were some Democrats that needed to switch sides and vote to open the government. And within the House, it was basically telegraphed once it moved there that it's going to happen. Right.
Mhm.
So the fact that it's this, and then all we get is this, guys, we
It's
might
not
have
a great
to,
look.
we might have to make that move down into the 99s, potentially 95, 92. And for any of you that think I'm not a bull, go watch this video right here. And in fact, I'm going to share it. Let me get the link for you. I'm going to share it in the live chat right now. I'm just going to share. I just wanted to get the link. Go watch this video. I'm posting it in the live chat. Go watch that video. I give the entire case for why, and don't get fooled by the title. Don't get fooled by the thumbnail. Don't get fooled by the first minute where I talk super bearishly. There's a lot of technical signals that suggest that there's pain in store, especially when you consider from, right here, March 2024 to this point right here. What do we see? We see bearish divergence from March of last year all the way to where we're at right here. There's nothing wrong in saying, no, a major correction is in store here. When you look at the technicals, when you look at the fact that the government just reopened, understand that the government represents 24% of American GDP. That has been a hole in the economy for the last month. That just reopened. We have quantitative tightening that's ending December 1st. A likelihood of a 50 basis point cut, not just 25 basis point. In addition to that, money printing. Now they're going to do a $2,000 either tax rebate or stimulus check. That doesn't come free. We saw the $1,200 stimulus check led to a 17x in Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just it's a much larger market cap, and it's got people really freaked out. And I think liquidity is where I'm getting excited about in terms of trading, right? Using the windshield wiper movements on liquidity wipes. Something Josh used to do all the time. I kind of use the windshield wiper method with money flow. Right now, it really is building this range. There's a spot at 103.7. Down below us is $100,400 flat. And I do actually kind of want to just move through this in a broader sense on Binance in particular, because Binance and Wintermute is where we see the concentration of where most of these major shotgun shell type washouts to the downside have been happening from. So let's actually take a gander behind the curtain and see what we got here. And keep in mind, like Binance, I feel like they spoof these charts sometimes to get traders a little psyched out. This big old pile sitting here at $99,000, still sitting there on the 1 week. So my trades, if I'm going to be shorting and longing, I'm at that point where I was, just fully feeling like we were in a hardcore bull market. Then we were able to run up to 126. Now things feel a little bit more iffy, and I want tether either way, right? I'm definitely going to be using stop losses, but looking at both the short and long side. In the shorter term, we actually do have some liquidity to the upside, and it's starting to try to bounce out of this little zone here. And this is something we haven't looked at in a little bit of time, is the larger time frames on money flow. And this is the biggest moment pause for concern right here, is this kind of slope downhill on the weekly. And something that's a little bit aggravating on that business cycle chart that you showed. And if the bull market ends with like a pitter patter and it's just like this engine without any gasoline left, I mean, this money flow movement that we saw in the golden bull market, right? We have the US president talking about Bitcoin. We have all of these insanely bullish things happening during this bull market. And look at the height of the money flow waves is pathetically low in comparison to previous bull markets, which is kind of confounding for me to think about. Bitcoin going quietly into the night while governments are talking about it, ETFs are live, all these different things are happening. And the money flow on the weekly does not look very good. It leads me to believe, one of two things, that this is on the monthly, that this is a fake out, wash everyone out, get rid of everyone, try to get all the longs off, and then run up. But I mean, this downward motion on the momentum waves, really quite bearish look when you have price moving up and the peaks of these momentum waves going lower and lower. Seems like it's trying to almost run out of gas. But I've always had this idea since BlackRock released these ETFs that it wasn't going to be too easy for us 4-year cycle maxis to outtrade BlackRock, to outtrade all these other folks. And this is the chart that I think about when I'm thinking about, is this market truly over? This is the chart that really comes to mind here, Kelly. It'd be hard to imagine.
I mean, just look at it. Business cycle, when it's found a bottom, let's ignore where we're at over here, right? Let's ignore, you see my mouse, ignore this last green dot. Let's look at the previous 2 green dots. Where was this in the cycle? Pre-parabola, early bull market, halfway through. Charles Hoskinson himself said he thinks we're halfway through the cycle, the bull cycle. Well, here we go. Green dot again. Where was that? We had the slight run up, the sell off, the COVID catastrophe, the world economy turned off. This right here is where look at where that was. The run up in 2018 to 2019, COVID sell off. This is a line chart. And then this is where that happened, pre-parabola. And then similarly, zooming into where we're at right now, somehow we happen to also just be coming into a noticeable trend line of where this potentially could be bottoming. It's rounding out. And what do we also have? What's the biggest development in any sort of business or technology that's taken the waves of everybody's mind share in the last 2 years?
It's AI for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think the business cycle coming in right here, do you think we're about to go lower in a constriction on the business cycle when AI is getting deployed across the board in every business out there that matters?
It's a good point. That's a dang good point, Kelly.
Dude, I
That's
think
a really good
this
point.
green dot right here, where my mouse is, I think we are representatively, like in 2017, like this. And it doesn't feel like it because the 4-year cycle is a must. Is it? Is it more related to the business cycle? Is it more related to the 4-year election cycle? Is it related to global liquidity? Is it kind of a combination of all those? I want you all to gander at the fact that back here in 2013, here in 2017, in 2013 prior, we had the halving cycle. Before this halving cycle was 50 Bitcoin per block. It is 3.125 Bitcoin. That is a 93% reduction in the amount of inflation that is in Bitcoin now. So you're telling me that with a 93% reduction, that the halving cycle, specifically because the reduction of inflation on schedule, that's reduced by 93% still is the driving force. And I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm building a citadel up here. I got hammocks. You guys, I'm going to die on this hill. We are going to have new highs in 2026.
I mean, I'm buying like it, but also I'm hedging with shorts and just playing it smart, because I'm in crypto for the long game. And, looking at the broader scheme of things, I got into crypto a few cycles ago because I believe in it. And I believe in what I'm holding, and it's how I've got the entry points that I do. It's how I have the comfortability in investing the way that I do, is because I've stayed the course. And I do implore you all, things are scary out there right now. I do implore you to stay the course. And if you are questioning why you hold crypto, is it only for money go up, number go up? Just evaluate if you want to be in this market into 2026, because we've ran from $15,000 up to $126,000. We're still above $100,000. And you know what? If it wasn't risky, there wouldn't be any massive upside holding into, the next year. It's a lot is on the table. They're voting on the market structure bill at the end of the year. Staking on ETFs is getting a little bit frisky on Wall Street side. So, there's a lot of potentials out there. But Kelly, I'm glad we caught that live. Really, it didn't have too much impact of a chart action for us, unfortunately, but that did give us kind of a signal of more caution. I walked out of it with just more caution. I am cautiously optimistic for, 2026, and I have basically consolidated my holdings down to things that I truly can believe in. Can I hold this thing into 26, 27? That's what I did, and I sleep more comfortably at night. So really appreciate you kind of waking me up here. I didn't know that he was going to be going live about this. This is market dominance as well. Look at that.
Market dominance setting up for a potential setup for those altcoins. And then why do we do this? We'll leave on this note right here, everybody, because we all got to get some rest. This is why we do it. Okay. You are getting absolutely ramrodded straight up into this is the Federal Reserve. This is inflation. This is every one of us out here that deals with anywhere that we live with fiat currency. And the fact that we like that there's $2,000 stimulus checks, and the fact that there's going to be, these bills, all of this is why we Bitcoin, everybody. So I just want to remind everybody, I just want to remind you all on the daily chart, let's just make it, let's simplify it as we leave. This was the bottom back here in 2022, 15,500 bucks. We've gone from 15,500 low all the way up here, 700%. If this is a top in the near term, great. Everything just set up in the landscape of Bitcoin and digital assets to be only on this top right here. This top was the inauguration day. Only on this top right here at $109,000 did Bitcoin actually full on become a realistic asymmetric opportunity. So everything here is noise, even on the drop. Even if we drop to 88, even if we drop to 69 or 74, everything here is an asymmetric opportunity because we have the biggest financial asset managers in the world lining up to figure out how they can get involved with crypto. We have ETFs that have broken every record that we've ever seen. And we're sitting up here. Oh my God, we might dip some more, AKA we might have better opportunity of price. The more patient you can be right here.
That is kind of exciting.
That's all that it's about.
I'm excited, but I mean, I have Tether on the sideline ready for it. And you know what? Just stay focused and consider your convictions right now. It's a wild time. Yes, Trump, he's shaken up. The TA means a lot until Trump opens his mouth. Just hodl Bitcoin. Use an Arculus cold storage wallet. Get involved in Bitcoin IRA. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there. And I will see you in the morning. VZ Fat Cat, we're going to take a look at XRP just in case there's any shade.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.